I'm Brian Hoagley. Welcome back to cisolife. Brought to you by SideChannel. You can find me anywhere down on LinkedIn or Twitter. And of course, rate on YouTube. Hit that bell. Get the latest and greatest. I wanted to talk about the SEC and their final rule, again, because it's coming up in a lot of discussions, especially on the heels of their complaint against SolarWinds and their CISO, Tim Brown. And when we look at what SEC is looking for out of their final rule, regardless of what's happening with SolarWinds and the materially misstatements that that group is making, really want to focus in on what are the solutions that you should be driving inside your organization to meet the new SEC rules, items 106B and C. And when you kind of back up from what the rules are really looking for, what those items 106 are looking for, we're not talking about the incident response piece. That's actually pretty straightforward. 105 is calling for if you have an incident, you believe it's materially impactful, you need to be able to notify the SEC within a select amount of time frame. Now, granted, in order to be able to do that, you need to have an incident response plan, probably have done some type of tabletop, and actually have the capabilities to be able to make some type of report to an external entity. But let's table that for another time. Focusing on 106, it's really about what kind of program do you have in place. The SEC is looking for cybersecurity guidance, governance, risk management, program, leadership, oversight, really a program. So what goes into a program so you can turn around and in your disclosure statement say, we have that. And that's important. You got to be able to say, what does good look like? And essentially, when you kind of back up each of the rules, a lot of it is documentation and process. And honestly, having leadership. Who's at the helm? Who is thinking about cybersecurity for your organization all the time, or at least most of the time, to be able to say you have some type of maturable program? Cybersecurity is not a set and forget type of capability. In fact, the SEC is expecting you to have some type of maturation processes and thinking built into your organization. So, have you done some type of risk assessment, control gap analysis? Do you have a type of strategic roadmap? Is that all built on and supported with some type of information security policy, an incident response plan? And are you training users about what does good look like? What are your expectations about them? Without these kind of basic foundational elements inside of your organization, it's really going to be very difficult to be able to then turn around and disclose to any type of external entity, especially the SEC, through filings, and also your shareholders, that you have a program in place. Is any of it documented? Is any of it managed? Is it governed? Are you reporting about it? In fact, I have a lot of fun conversations with board members and senior leaders inside of an organization like the CFO and CEO. Ask the question, what are you being told? What does good look like? What are you being shown about the program inside of your organization? And surprisingly, I get a lot of really bad answers. Go figure. But the answers I get are, well, we're not hearing anything, so therefore must be in a good spot. I haven't heard any issues, therefore we must have a good program. That's not necessarily true. No news does not necessarily mean good news. In fact, if you're not hearing anything, you might actually have to inquire inside of your organization, whether it's your CTO, your CIO, your outsourced IT provider, about what they are actually doing around cybersecurity. Are they even in a position to be able to disclose to you and tell you on a regular basis what is going on inside of your organization from a cyber risk remediation standpoint? So unless you have these types of programs in place, it's going to be very difficult to be able to create a disclosure that's going to go into your 10K or your 10Q filings. Now, it's November 1st today. March is right around the corner. And that's going to be the main time most organizations are going to have to start having all of these disclosure statements in their regular filings. So if you haven't retained some type of virtual CISO or outside service provider to be able to start doing this, or you haven't been able to hire a full-time CISO inside your organization, you better start thinking about it now because March is right around the corner. So looking at 106, a lot of documentation, a lot of capabilities, you need some type of leadership. You need to be looking at your third parties. You need to be looking at your ability to do after-action reviews on incidents, should you have them. Can you actually do a root cause analysis? Do you have board oversight? Does the board even have an agenda item where they're able to talk about cybersecurity? Is it documented in their committee structure? Do you have any type of standard reports that your board members are expecting and looking for? And are you able to show that on a regular basis, this is an item that is up for discussion and you're able to articulate exactly what the cyber risk is for your organization to board and then obviously to shareholders through your public statements? So Let's not always just focus on the incident response capability. That's huge for if you have an incident. But I feel like a lot of organizations are dismissing what item 106 is looking for. And if you don't trust me, well, that's fine. I'm just a cyber expert over here on the internet. But you should talk to your SEC lawyer, or your outside counsel, or your outside auditors, and ask them, how are we supposed to be disclosing this? What should our disclosures look like? What are the requirements on me as an SEC covered entity, a reporting entity? Now, whether you're on the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, or on the OTC, you have to follow what the SEC is putting out here. And you should be asking exactly, what is that? What does that mean for me and my organization? So, Brian Hoagley just wanted to put out some more information, dispel a couple myths and some action items that I keep hearing about, and we really need to kind of clean up exactly how it is we're addressing this. So if you want to contact me for any of this information or any of this advice, you can catch us on SideChannel.com. You can follow me out on LinkedIn and obviously anywhere using hashtag #cisolife. I'm Brian Hoagley. I'll catch you next time. Thanks.